One. Welcome back to the channel. We have our first comic on the show tonight, Matty Ice. How you doing, my friend?
Good, good. Thanks, Raphael and Amanda. Thank you.
My
This
co-host
is so
Amanda, how are
exciting.
you?
Great. I'm great.
Let's just jump straight in.
Yeah.
What was the conversation like when you came home from work, if you had a partner at the time, and said, I'm going to be a comic?
You know what? It was more like I thought it was going to be a one-off. I really did. I always wanted to try it once, and I thought I was shy growing up, so I didn't think I'd ever be one like a comic. But I did think, okay, I'll take a class and kind of gain confidence on public speaking. And I just always loved comedy, so I just figured I would just take a class, do it once, be done with it. Well, that never happened. It turned out my friends were interested in being a comic. They scoped out a an open mic. They were just there to check it out one week, and then get the confidence to come back the next week and perform. Trying to get the feel of it. Well, one of them gets itchy. He's a very confident French guy, and he gets itchy that night, and he goes up right away. So Tyler stays in the audience. My buddy Tibble goes up and kills, and the
Oh.
producer's like, "I hope you come back next week." Well, now he's got a bigger head than normal, and he's the greatest comic of all time. So he tells me he does comedy, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to come and support you." He's all, "No, Matt, you need to do comedy with me." And I'm thinking, I don't know. He's all, "No, half of them suck." He goes, "I'm considered the best." So yeah, I spent 3 or 4 days writing some material, ran it by a friend. He's all, "Matt, these are charming little stories. There's no punchline." And so I crumpled it all up. Now it's like 3 days
Oh wow.
till, and here's what I did. I made it known on Instagram. I made little posters. I'm doing comedy in Temecula. Now, the reason why I did it in Temecula, because it's like an hour from my house. I'm not going to run into
Okay.
anybody I know. So if I bomb, I'm never going to see these people again. So
That's
I
smart.
I kept myself accountable. That way, my friends would be like, "Hey, whatever happened with that comedy gig?" "Oh, I didn't go." No, I wanted to, because So what happened was, I have a funny story. I bartended at my friend's wedding. That was in Temecula, and a 90-year-old woman was hitting on me as I'm a bartender. So that gave me a ton
Every
of
guy's
material.
dream.
Yes, and she's a sugar mama with
Oh,
an
did
Oh.
you refuse? Did you
she's a
refuse her?
she's a sugar great grandma, actually. So
Oh.
that gave me a ton of material. Plus, the venue was at a brewery, and I work in the beer business at a brewery in San Diego. So it gave me more confidence. I checked it out like my friends did. So the day before the show, my show, I saw that Bob Ross, you know who he is? He was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
painter with the afro. They
yeah.
have a cardboard cutout of him. So I thought, oh, I'll start off the set acting like I've never seen this venue. And they had spackle all over the wall, white little spackles. There was like 60 patches on the wall. It looked like crap. So I decided, when I get up on stage, I'm going to act like, give it up for Bob Ross. He's a Gen X legend. I'm from Gen X. Everybody was clapping for Bob Ross, the cardboard. And then I pulled back the curtain and I said, "Looks like he gave us some artwork." I'm not talking about this Rothko riff off. I'm talking about the Happy Little Clouds. And I was off and running. So that's how it happened. It was kind of like a fluke. I thought it was going to be a one off, but once I was on stage, it's like catching a wave. And I thought, oh, I need to keep doing this. While I'm up there, I told myself I need to do this more. So it's a long story, but that's how it started.
Are you
That's
conscious?
great.
Are you conscious of the audience while you're doing it?
Yeah, because I've given speeches at weddings and different events, but now it's like, it's not worth it unless they're laughing. And they were laughing out the gate about 10, 30 seconds in because of Bob Ross, and the spackling killed. I knew it was killer. I thought that, and that might even be, I haven't watched the video in a while. I have it all on tape. It's actually all on Instagram. I'll send it to you. So you'll see the project. It's in 3 parts, but it's all there, the whole 5 minutes. But yeah, I was feeling the waves of laughter. I remember I had a Star Wars joke, and I mentioned Mandalorian meth, and that got a big wave of laughter. And the woman who was a cougar, I said she was a certified saber-toothed tiger. That got a laugh. And then I said, I used to hang out in Del Mar. Now, Del Mar is notorious for that. And I didn't think that people in Temecula would get it, but that actually got the biggest laugh. It wasn't in my script. It was a one off in the moment. I used to hang out in Del Mar, and that actually got the biggest laugh. Now that I think about it. So,
That must be satisfying, like especially that's what like you didn't even plan for that. It must be amazing to feel people's response to you and everything. That must
yeah,
be a great feeling. I
true.
can see
And
why
I
it's
noticed
addictive.
when I'm in the moment and just riff off myself on the spot, I'll look back at all my shows. Those were the biggest laughs. So it's funny, like, oh, right. But no, it's what I'm saying in the moment on the spot. And that's okay. It's fine. I kind of like to be in the moment more so than not. So I
Well,
did
I
a show
think it's
last.
indicative that you're like you're a funny person and not just a funny writer. Because I think you can write jokes, but it doesn't mean that you're able to. But obviously, if you're able to ad lib and get great laughs too, and just do it off the cuff, then I would assume that you're just an overall funny person in
Oh,
general.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Growing up, I knew I was witty, but I never knew jokes. I never had any jokes. Like my friends would read those books on thousand jokes. I couldn't remember anything. Plus, I felt like dishonest. I don't want to repeat something somebody else said. But in a conversation with the two of you, we're going to riff off each other and it's going to be funny, all three of us. So it's like, I'm good with that. But I didn't know it translated to stand up as much, because I'm just the only one speaking, unless I open it up to the crowd. So.
Are you kind of an anecdote sort of guy, or you're reflecting on lifestyle situations that you pick on?
Yes, yeah. In the beginning, it was mostly my life, and like my cousin said the other night, she's like, "Maddie, how's the comedy going?" And she's very funny too, as a lot of my relatives are. And I said, I'm pretty much just telling stories about me, my dad, my uncle, my nephew. And she's all, yeah, look at this room. It's my aunt's 80th birthday, full of. She's all, this is the material. I don't even have to ever write anything new, but I do. But yes, I do a lot of observations. I think that helps because I'm an artist first and foremost, cartoonist, illustrator. So you're always observing, like, and also an animator. So like, how's this person walking? How's that dog walking? What is this person have a lot of attitude? So part of that's acting, but a lot observing. So yeah, anecdotes from life, things that strike me funny, things that somebody said out loud. And I've had a lot of interesting jobs, and that plays into it too. I've worked at a brewery. I've worked at a restaurant called the G Spot.
I
Just
saw
it
that
writes
clip.
itself. It writes
Imagine
itself.
working at a place called the G Spot that you can't fucking find.
Yeah, so that's my joke. It's my joke. It's in Carlsbad, and I say I loved working at the G Spot. It's all female coworkers, all female customers, and none of the guys in Carlsbad Village could ever find the damn place. So, and then when I go to LA, I'll say none of the guys in San Diego. So I kind of tweak it to make it funnier. LA versus San Diego, or Oceanside versus Carlsbad, which Carlsbad's got a lot of money. Oceanside not as much. I like performing in Oceanside, so we bag on Carlsbad when I'm doing shows in Oceanside. So yeah.
Who have your major influences been though when you was younger in terms of comics?
Yeah, I want to say this. I know wasn't much of a sitcom guy. I loved
No, me neither.
Cheers.
Yeah, I
I
like
love
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers. I love Cheers. I've seen every episode, but I wasn't even into Seinfeld. I didn't watch any sitcoms.
Oh, sacrilege!
I know, but you know what? That's the truth. But I was watching even at the Improv, MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour,
Yeah,
all those shows where I'm seeing Carrot Top for the first time, or all these young comics, Jon Stewart. And so I grew up, I was just gravitating towards all of that. And I, even to this day, I don't really watch TV except if it's sports. The comics I liked a lot were Greg Giraldo, Eric Myers, Ari Spears, Chris Rock, Chappelle, but I don't model myself after them. Because they all have their rhythm and their cadence, and I did do a beer comedy roast awards show, so I had to roast my friends, and I'm like, Greg was so great at that, and sometimes I'd be like, okay, take his kind of structure. I didn't really mean to, but sometimes like, oh, that's totally like how he would set it up, or have a misdirect and stuff. But those are fun too, but they're just one-offs. But I just try to do it from the heart, with my own like vocabulary and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Super
if
interesting.
the opportunity arose, are you planning on expanding into, say, writing a book, anything like that?
Ooh, you know what? I never thought of that. I always thought I would have a book of my illustrations and maybe like little blurbs of what that meant, each graphic or t-shirt design or whatever. But that is a good idea. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
thought of that. I think I need to experience more of this comedy world, and then maybe 5 6 years from now, then maybe dip into that, or maybe write as I go, like just a journal and like the ups and downs.
Yeah.
And it's a wild ride. It really is. There's politics. There's backstabbing. It's like, oh my god, I thought this was gonna be. I try and like disassociate myself with people who are divas or have treated me wrong or just things like that. So it's kind of like art. You're kind of in it for yourself. I try to grab a tribe but sometimes our tribes whittle down. It's just like you find
Yeah.
new people to work with, and it's interesting. But the book idea is a good one. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you find it's dramatic a lot? Like, I mean, you see like comedy clubs on TV or you go and see a show and you just see like the aspect, but is behind the scenes, is it really hard to get into it? Is it hard to get known, to get time?
Yeah,
Like, how does that go?
yeah, it's tricky. I've learned it's political. Like I just started hosting my own shows because I work at a brewery, and our Saturday nights sometimes are slow. I'm like, this is a slam dunk. I bring in a co-host. We hand pick our comics. It's 5 6 features, no cover, because we'll pay the comics at the end. We'll give them free beer. Plus that's going to pack my brewery out. So,
Yeah.
but then I noticed all of a sudden people were reaching out to me, and I'm like, okay, I know why, because they want it's like I was never invited on their show, but now they're coming, they want to be
Mhm.
on mine. And then I learned, okay, so now I'll put this person on, hopefully I get on their show. It never materialized. So, and it's
Wow.
fine, whatever. Like there's this club in town, I won't say, I like it. I've been there 25, 30 times. They like everything I post. They'll never book me. I'm like, okay, the show's called Local Laughs. I'm a local guy, and I kind of give hints.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is odd. And they're pulling from him. And I'm like, well, this is odd. I don't get it. So I want to go and work with the people who want me. So, like the Comedy Chateau, which it's easy to get on that one, they're in Hollywood. They booked me right away. I did one audition, 3 minutes long, got booked by two different producers at two different shows. That doesn't happen in San Diego. But every time I go to LA, even to watch, I get booked on something. So San Diego is a little tough one to crack.
Yeah.
It's I have a lot more fun when I'm performing in LA, which I did that all last summer and all this summer. I'm not even dealing with San Diego right now, so I'm actually going to keep going to LA probably through November, and then do some shows in Vegas like I did. So I
Nice.
mean, San Diego is a great place to start, but it's tough to crack it sometimes. I've only been on like one legit Gen X show. I think that's about it. But my friends not got me to host their beer awards show, so that was fun. It was an hour and 40 minutes. I actually had some comics on as well, so it's tricky sometimes. Yeah.
Can I ask, is the circuit busy? Is there like a huge pool of talent out there that's aiming for stardom?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm 50, and they say it takes 10 years to like reach success, whether it's money or a TV show or something. So I know, like, it's probably not going to happen for me, and I'm okay with it. But I think a lot of people, I think they're all seduced by this whole kill Tony thing. Why get on the show? Why get on the show to do 1 minute? 2 minutes is hard to do. 3 minutes, it's not enough time.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
was kind of brought up. I'm 50. I was brought up in comedy doing 5 minutes at a time. That I was used to that. So to whittle it down to 1 minute, and then it's easy to poke fun at people, but they're thirsty for the fame, this quick fame. And one guy fell, and they're like, "Oh, he was on Kill Tony, but he fell." It's like, who cares? Like,
Wow.
that's stupid.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I don't care for that whole vibe or that whole show. I'm kind of anti a lot of things, so
And rightfully so.
I'm just having fun. If the fame comes, it comes. I'm not aiming for it, but I treat every gig I do with like a business for me. I network, I get there early, talk to everybody. I'm just having fun with it. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are aiming and gunning to be famous, and that's fine. I guess we all will try to at one point of our lives. But San Diego does have a big community of comics, and Temecula does, and of course LA does. I don't know why some of these comics are hanging out in San Diego. If they're serious, they need to get up to LA. I just happen to live here and do the. I mean, I'm going to LA a lot, so that's that.
What was it like debuting in Vegas?
That was fun. That made me feel just like that. Actually, felt made me feel like I made it in my
Yeah,
mind.
right?
Like, I mean, that's Elvis. That's Evil Knievel. That's everybody. So Rat Pack. So
Yeah,
um,
Tom Jones stuff, isn't it?
yeah. So I mean, to me, it was that way. You're not going to feel that way when I tell the story. I'm good friends with Steve. I'm great friends with Steve Stedham. He's a professional skateboarder, Hall of Famer, and he owns a skate shop out there. And his skate shop actually has a stage, and he's a musician as well. So they put on concerts every week within the mall at his skate shop. And so he called me up and he's all, Matt, can you open for me for my band? And I said, yeah, we're coming. So I did 10 minutes. I was the only comic. That was the first time my girlfriend ever saw me perform. She had heard a lot of the jokes, but never saw,
Oh,
me on stage. So, and I told her, I said, I'm sorry. I know there's so much cooler things to do in Las Vegas on a Saturday night, but she had a blast. We had fun. And then we got booked for, do you remember the TV show Pawn Stars?
Yeah,
Pawn.
yeah.
yeah.
Pawn.
So
Yeah, the pawn shop.
yeah, so Rick who owns it, he owns a barbecue place on the other side of the parking lot. And on the second floor, they do comedy every Wednesday for the last 17 years. And my friends and I got booked on that. So to me, that was even
Bigger.
cooler too.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
I
sure.
that's
did
cool.
I did get booked on the Plaza Hotel. Now I'm really excited. That's the Biff's Hotel from Back to the
Yeah.
Future 2. And then they decided to cancel all the shows. And I'm like, darn it, because the reason why I didn't go right away, because it's too hot. So I wanted to go in October. I'm kicking myself now because the last show was in July. So I missed out on that, but something will come up. So I know Wise Guys is out there. I'm not at the level to do like the Cellar or anything, but definitely some of these smaller clubs. And I have 2 or 3 connections in LA, or sorry, Las Vegas now. So I am going to go in October, November, but I just don't know where just yet. So
Amanda?
Well, that's really cool. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to ask you a little bit more about like when you did begin, like more like why did you decide to change your, because you started later on. So I know you already have an established career as an illustrator and everything. And I know that you said that you felt like it's always something that you wanted to do, but it's still a big leap to go from realizing that you're funny to like getting yourself on stage. I mean, I can't imagine doing that
This is the
myself.
important question because this is something that I've
yeah,
inside
it's a
me.
great
I'm
one.
dying to
It's a
do it,
good
and I
one.
just can't
Yeah.
take that leap.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I know why. So I quit a job. I was making good money, but I had to go because it was I was having nightmares. It was like there was issues there. We were trying to solve them, but HR wasn't helping. The owner wasn't helping. And I warned them. I said, if things don't change, I'm out of here. Sure enough, I just had to get up and leave. And I didn't have anything lined up other than my art, my freelance art. But I just had to leave. So about 2 weeks later is when the open mic happened. And so I just thought, and I worked at No Fear, the t-shirt place, where we used to have like a lot of No Fear during that time. And I was kind of at that level. What do I have to lose? I'll do it. No one, also, no one, I'm not going to run into any friends. So that helped. It's
Yeah.
about an hour away. But I did have to go up early and scope the place out, like I said. And I actually had to force myself to walk on the stage. So people probably thought, what's this guy? I mean, it's a brewery. There's no comedy going on, but why is this guy standing on the stage right now? And I just had to visualize it because I didn't want it to be too new once I get up there with the spotlight and the people. And, I get chills just talking about it right now.
Oh,
So I thought I just have to be on a stage and just check it out real quick. And so that was part of it. And then it's interesting. I had 2 job interviews before the open mic, and I didn't get the jobs. They were with 2 well-known breweries. And I thought I did good. And I was funny and witty, before all that and during the interviews. And they didn't hire me. And they're like, oh, we'll call you. And they never did. And then after the comedy show, a week later, I had two more interviews with a different brewery and a restaurant, and they both hired me. And I attribute the confidence I gained from that night to that. And so that's why I tell people, you have it. Like, you need to be a comic. I'm not telling you what to do, but a lot of good things came from it. I'm not saying I wouldn't have gotten those jobs, but I think it helped. So you walk in a room now and I'm like, no one here's a comic. I am so not to be cocky, but it's just a little stuff.
No, you've earned the right. You've earned the right.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. Yeah.
But it's funny too, because I got invited to be in an art show in Las Vegas, and they gave us bowling pins to paint. And instead of, so then they would promoted it, and they're like, yeah, we got some celebrities, we got this skateboarder, and we got comedian Matty Ice. I'm like, I'm an artist. You should have used my name. So it's just funny. It's like, oh my God, I'm getting more fame out of 14 months of doing comedy.
I've got to ask you, tell me about the skateboarding. I'm really interested to know. I've watched your videos of you skateboarding and completing National Park. What is it?
Yeah, I grew up skateboarding. I got a concussion when I was 12 years old. It was really bad. So I kind of focused more on art. I couldn't play any sports for 9 months.
Gen X didn't wear pads and helmets.
Yeah, well, we were dumb.
Yeah.
We were trying to be cool, but I ended up having to read a lot and draw a lot. And I was an artist prior to that, but and then once I could skateboard, I did. But then the whole culture and the popularity died, and it's not fun skateboarding by yourself. I was a shy kid anyways. I'm drawing by myself. I don't want to keep doing sports, or not sports, but things by myself all the time. I did play basketball. And then I just always owned a skateboard. I did a lot of graphics for Tony Hawk. He had a Hawk clothing line that Quicksilver bought. So I did like 66 designs of cartoon character skateboarding for his line, and then a lot of skateboard graphics. And then they put in a pump track, which is a wavy concrete. I don't know how to say it. Like it's not a dirt track, but it's like a BMX track, but in concrete.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And then that got me back into the sport. And I got to meet Billy Ruff and Dennis Martinez, Steve Caballero, Mike McGill, and all those guys. So now I've been working with all of them on collabs. I work with the Skateboard Hall of Fame on different projects too. So but I wear my helmet and everything. I'm not a trick guy. So yeah. My mom peeked by real quick. I'm at her house. It's closer to my house to do this. So she made a quick cameo.
We like that.
She's funny too. My mom and dad have a great sense of humor. My sister's a riot. You would think if you met the three of us, my brother, my sister, and I, you'd be like, oh, Krista, she's the comic. But she's like, but she's a teacher. So she's always, I do stand up every day. I perform in front of these kids and I'm an entertainer. And then once she's done, she's so funny that every day her fellow teachers sit down in the lounge and say, okay, Krista, tell us what happened today. And she does a 10 minutes set telling everything she went through.
I agree with her.
Yeah.
You're an entertainer. Teachers are nowadays, I suppose.
Yeah, they are. She's a great teacher too. She teaches anywhere between first grade and like fourth grade, and they bounce around and stuff. Yeah. So I use her stories. I change the names to protect the innocent. Or the not so innocent.
I need to change my family. They're all miserable as sin.
So they must have been all encouraging of you for sure in this career of theirs.
Yeah, I think we all just bounced off each other over the years and helped each other get better. Not that we were trying to be better. We're just funny. I mean, and the whole family, my grandpa Marquise was a riot. Oh my gosh, 95 years old, still driving to Vegas.
Wow.
He rear-ended some woman. He shouldn't have been driving. He rear-ended some lady, and she gets out of her car and she's like 70. You hit my bumper. And he's like, that's what they're there for. It's like, no, that's not what they're there for. He thinks he's a scot-free, and so, that wasn't the case. But yeah. And I told my mom and dad, I said, look, this is just a hobby of mine. It's not like I'm quitting my jobs and doing this. I mean, maybe if I was 21 or something, I could have. But I'm still an artist first and foremost. So I, I was able to work for a lot of companies, and even to this day. So I love that. But comedy's just right there too. So it's fun to bounce between the two. I have my brewery job. I work at the Del Mar racetrack seasonally right now,
Oh.
and that feeds the comedy. And then, with my comedy, I'm coming out with merch. I have some shot glasses coming out, stickers,
Cool.
and t-shirts with Matty Ice, and then I always make all my flyers and posters for that. So I treat it like a kind of like a I don't know, how do you say it? It's not like an art performance, but more of like it's just all
it
feeds
collabs
off
together.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it continues in. I like that.
Thank you.
Last question? What's the one bit of advice you give to an aspiring comic or someone that wants to try it?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
What's a piece of advice you'd give to an aspiring comic that someone actually wants to give it a try?
I say this to everybody: it's a lot easier than it looks, because that stage seems intimidating.
Really?
Yeah, I think my friends that I know have it, they'll tell me, I can't do it, Matty. I can't. I go, yes, you can. There's no difference. Like, you have a podcast. It's no different, really. I mean, I know there's people in the crowd, but I would say that it's a lot easier than it looks, I think. And the main thing is just be yourself. Like, you each have stories that have made you laugh over the years, or maybe you've told a story about yourself or a family member, and you know that story by heart. Get up there and just tell those stories. That's what I did. I mean, I had that fresh news story with the 90-year-old woman who loved to drink. But and then write. I think write as much as you can. My friends and I were doing 5 new sets every time we drove up there every Monday. So for 12 weeks in a row, they were all hits. Don't get me wrong. It was funny. The first night I performed, Tyler performed the first time. Tibbs, it was his second time ever. He thinks he's a veteran at that point. Telling us what to do. And so we walked out of there, out of the 25 comics, I swear we were in the top 4. Like, people were coming up to us afterward. Where do you guys gig? Where do you guys go? Well, that was the career. So we were definitely in the top 4. And then on the ride home, Tibbs thinks, we're the best ever. I go, we're not Chappelle. This is a fluke. We set the bar low. We just, look, we're good. We got them to laugh. Let's just keep going and see how we do. And every room, every brewery is different. You got to read the crowd. That's another tip I'd say, because I'll walk into a room, there's a lot of older women. I'm like, okay, do more of my shopping jokes. I bash on Ross. It's a clothing outlet out here. I call it randomly organized sellable shit. That just came from my life. So, just
enjoy it.
Yeah, just just pull from life and just use your own language, how you speak. They want to see unique people. So. Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of other stuff. I just have no fear. I mean, what's going to be, trust me, I didn't want to bomb when I went up there, because I thought this is my only time. So it would be nice to get a couple laughs.
Yeah.
I got a lot of laughs. So, and that was addicting. And once you get those laughs, it's like, oh, but here's the thing too. I like to write a lot, because I don't want to say all those same jokes all the time. Because there came a time where I'm like using the hits so much, and now I've expanded them to make it interesting for me. So yeah, I'm trying to think of more tips to give, but just have fun. I have fun no matter what. Even if I bomb, I know I'm going to have fun when I go out there. So, like, they might not have fun, but at least I had fun.
That's a great attitude to have, honestly.
I want them to have fun, though. That's
of course. Right, guys. Thank you for your time. It's been a really blast.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have a great evening. Take care.
All right.
Yeah.